Hello BFs, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to draft the pattern from scratch for this lovely off-shoulder bustier gown. The skirt part of the dress has a butt contour. If this is what you're interested in, please click the subscribe button, turn on notification, and let's get started with the tutorial proper. I'm going to use bra cup, soft woven, stay, 2 yards of lace, 2 yards of crepe material, and 2 yards of lining. We'll be drafting a basic block. I'm going to draw a line at the top, which will serve as my starting point. From my starting point, I will take my vertical measurement. With my tape still on my shoulder line, I'll take my shoulder to bust measurement, my shoulder to under bust, my shoulder to half length. Then I'll go ahead and highlight the line. I'll divide my shoulder measurement and mark at the starting point. Half of my shoulder measurement is 7.5. From where my shoulder line ends, I will come down by 1 inch. Please watch what I'm doing. Next, I'll take my neck width, which is straight, and then I'll go ahead and slope my shoulder. This is because the human shoulder isn't straight. I'm going to be marking my armhole measurement. Now I want to get the chest line. The calculation I use for my chest line is my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inch. So from the chest line, I'll go ahead and look for the midpoint. Once gotten, I'll go in by 0.5 inch. This is so as to get the curve on the armhole. Just watch what I'm doing. I'll go ahead and mark out the figure I got after dividing my bust measurements by 4. Then I'll use my curve ruler to give it a very nice curve. Now I'm going to be marking my dart measurement. To know your dart measurement, place your tape from one nipple point to the other nipple point. Whatever figure you get, divided by 2. That's what you're going to be marking. So mine was 8 divided by 2 gave me 4. Now I'm going to add 0.5 for seam allowance, which I will use for joining. So at the shoulder slope, I'll look for the midpoint and then draw a slant line to the bust point line, just as you see me doing. Now I'm going to mark out my dart leg. The side facing the neckline, I'm going to go in by 0.5 inch, while the side towards the armhole area, I'll mark 1.5 inch. If you are on a bigger bust size, you can go in with more inches than I did, just as you see the way my hand is demonstrating. So you take your French curve and just give it a very lovely curve. I am going to go ahead to mark out my neckline, but this is not so important since it's an off-shoulder dress. From the shoulder line, I'll mark the depth I want my off-shoulder to be. I took 6 inch because I didn't want it so deep. You can go ahead and take as much as you want, but let it not be more than 8 inches. So let's call this new line our new chest line. At this new chest line, this is where the overbust tightening is going to take place. For my overbust tightening, I'm going to be using 1.5 inch. I'm going to divide it by 2 and then mark 0.75 on one side and 0.75 on the other side. This is so as to give the dress a very firm fit at the off-shoulder area. So as you can see me do, I'll just use my French curve and give it a very nice curve back to my bust point. So please watch carefully. This dress is going to have a sweetheart neckline. From our chest line, I'll come down by 2 inch. If you want your neckline to be more revealing, you can come down by 4 inch, 5 inch and above. But for me, I will take just 2 inch downward, and then I'll go ahead and curve it into the dart leg. I'll start marking out my body measurement and replace the dart I took out. This block doesn't have any sewing allowance added, so all the sewing allowance will be added on the fabric. So I'll show you how I'm going to do it. After marking out my body measurement, I'll go ahead and connect all the dots together. I'll go ahead and cut through this dart so that I'll be able to close the side bust dart. I'm going to be using a side bust dart in this outfit. So I'm marking out the difference between my front half length and my back half length. The difference between my front half length and my back half length is 2 inches. It's not a standard measurement. Yours could be more. After marking out the difference, which is 2 inches, from that point, I will connect it back to my bust point. Watch what I'm doing. So I'm going to be closing this side bust dart. I'm going to mark out my bra strap to strap measurement. So once you get your strap to strap measurement, divide it by 2. Mine gave me 5.5 inch. So I will place my tape at our new chest line measurement from the start point. Then whatever inch I got, let's say for instance 3.5 inch, I will take it and skip that whole dart intake. It's the next dart leg. Then I'll continue for my 3.5 and mark until I get my 5.5 inch. So wherever my 5.5 inch ends, that is where my measurement is going to end. Next, measure your initial armhole line and then divide by 2. Whatever you get, mark it from the new chest line to wherever it ends. Don't worry. Even if it's more than what you are seeing in my own, just continue. Then roll out a straight line. So remember where our strap to strap measurement ended. So rule a slant line from that our strap to strap measurement and connect to your new armhole measurement. So I'll just go ahead and highlight my sweetheart neckline. Once I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and close my dart leg. Then I'll light every other line. And finally, I'm going to cut out the basic pattern block. Sorry guys, I didn't know this wasn't captured in my video, but just go ahead and cut out everything I highlighted. To make sure I get rid of shortage when joining, I'm going to go ahead and add an extra piece of paper, then mark out everything in sync and cut out, just as you see me do in the video. Guys, we are done with the front off shoulder bustier pattern. So let's go ahead and draft the back pattern. Go ahead and roll a line which will serve as my starting point, my shoulder to my bust point, with my tape still at my shoulder line. I'll mark my back half length. Guys, remember my back half length is 2 inches shorter than the front half length. This is because of the bust that I took out in the front pattern. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark out 1 inch, which is going to serve as my zip allowance. Next, I'll mark my shoulder measurement, then come down by 1 inch from where the shoulder measurement ends, just as I did with my front basic block pattern. I'm just going to repeat everything I did with my front basic block. If you've not been following, I would advise you go back to the video and watch the front basic block pattern so you don't get confused at this point. And if you've gotten to this point, please hit on the subscribe button, like my video, share, and leave a comment or a question down below. I'm going to answer every question, and thank you so much. So guys, for the back basic block, my dart is going to start from my new chest line, unlike the front that started from the bust line. So I'm going to be marking out 1 inch for my back block. That's I'm taking out the dart intake is just going to be 1 inch. So this 1 inch, I'll divide it by 2, so 0.5 on one side and 0.5 on the other side. After that, I'll just go ahead and mark my strap to strap measurement divided by 2. Then I'll just go ahead and divide my armhole line by 2, just as what I did in my front basic block. So please pay attention and watch what I'm doing. I'm just going to go ahead and replace all my body measurements, and then replace my bust measurements and my dart intake. Go ahead and mark out the rest of my body measurements. To eliminate back bulge, I'm going to take out 0.75 inch from my back waistline. I'm just going to rule a slant line to the neckline. But then I'll replace the 0.75 inch to avoid shortage. I'll do the same at the bust point. What you see me do right now, I'm replacing the measurements that was taken out at the bust point. Then I'll go ahead and highlight all the lines with my marker. I don't want the back neckline to be straight, so from the new chest line, I'll come down by 2 inch, then use my French curve to give it a very sweet curve to the armhole tip. I'll mark out a new zip line starting from the 0.7 intake I did at the back. Then I'll go ahead and highlight everything I've done, then cut out my pattern. I'm going to be folding my dart intake. As you can see in my pattern, there's a shortage at the top, so I'll just introduce another pattern paper, place my basic block on it, tape it down, and just trace it out equally. So I'll go ahead and cut out the back pattern. Our front and back pattern is ready. At the top of my pattern paper, I'm going to roll out a line which is going to serve as my waistline. From the line at the top, I'm taking my vertical measurement. My waist to my hip, waist to the knee line, and waist to the full length of the dress. Here I'm just going ahead to label what I have taken. So now I'm highlighting the hip line, the knee line, and the hem of the outfit. So I added 1 extra inch at the hem, which I'm going to use for my hemming allowance. At the waist, you're going to divide your waist measurement by 4. The waistline, remember, is that line I marked at the top. Then I'm adding my extra 2 inch allowance. The next line is my hip line. I'm also going to divide my hip by 4 and add 2 inch allowance. Nothing tastes like flying fish. I will just go ahead and connect the dot together with a straight ruler. I'm going to take the hip measurement divided by 4 and mark at the knee without the allowance. So what it means is that I'm minusing 2 from my hip measurement. I'll repeat what I just said. I'm going to take my hip measurement and mark down on my knee without the extra 2 inch allowance. The measurement at the knee and the hem is the same. Remember, it's the hip measurement without the seam allowance. So if you want to minus just 1 from your hip, just go ahead and take out 1 inch. But mine, I'm taking out 2 inch allowance from my hip measurement and mark at my knee. So now I went ahead to use my marker to highlight the marking. So where I marked X is where I'm going to cut through. So next, I'm going to be drafting my back pattern. I've already taken out 1 inch, which is going to serve as my zipper. So the back pattern and the front pattern is the same. The only difference is the zip allowance at the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin my front pattern on the paper I've kept for the back pattern. Now I'm tracing out the hip line, the knee line, and the hem line on the back pattern. I'm going to take the hip measurement plus the 2 inch and mark it back at the knee and the full length. Now, I want to make this back piece a basic skirt. First of all, before I'm going to contour it, we are going to have this bum effect at the back. So first of all, mark back your basic skirt measurement. That's your hip on your knee and your hip on the full length of the skirt. We are not minusing the 2 inch here. Please just follow the video and you understand what I'm explaining. Here I'm just tracing out the curve on the hip line from the front piece, from the front pattern into the back pattern. So I'll go ahead and remove my pins so you see what I have done. To avoid fold in your outfit, like the front outfit, come down from your waist measurement by 1 inch and then slope it back to the waist, just like you see me do. Just slant it to the waist back. This will eliminate any fold in front. I'll go ahead and highlight those depth measurements I took. At the waistline, I'm going to come in by 0.75 inch, which is quite an inch, and take it in, like I'll mark it inward, trying to eliminate the back bulge that should have happened. Actually, so we cocked it. So I'm going to minus 1 inch from one side of the knee and then 1 inch from the other end of the knee. That's making it 2 inch, just like the way I did in my front block. So I'll connect it back to my hip line to give it a very nice pencil shape. We'll take out our new measurement and mark on our hemline. This is exactly what we are doing. That means we're also minusing 1 inch from both sides. I'll go ahead and highlight all the markings on our pattern block so you see the effect of what we have done. From the hip line, come down by 5 inch. So guys, remember we took out 1/4 inch from the waistline. So now I'm just going to replace or mark out a new zip line and connect. So this is so that we can eliminate the back zip bulge and give our skirt a very nice fitting at the back. So I'll just go ahead and draw the new zip line I just mapped out, and with my curve rule I'm going to give it a nice curve at the hip area. Remember, our hip is not straight. This zip line is going to end directly where we marked down our 5 inch, which is the bum seat. So from that 5 inch downward, I'm going to be marking 1/2 inch sewing allowance, but I'm still going to sew with 1 inch allowance. Remember, this is the back block measurement we are working on, and from the knee area downward, it's not as big as the hip region. So unless you want the dress to be free on you, if you really want it penciled like mine in the thumbnail, then just follow this method I'm showing you right now and you get a perfect fit. I'll go ahead and highlight all the markings I have made and show you what it looks like. See, checking out my 5 inch measurement from the hip area, from the hip line. So I'm taking down 5 inch measurement from the hip line, and then from there I'm just going to slant it the way you see me do and take it down 1/2 inch to the hemline. I went ahead to use green marker to show you the point I'm going to be cutting through. From the waistline, the back waistline at the zip region, I'm going to come down by 1 inch to slant it to the front, just as if we are doing a shoulder slope. Okay, this is it. This is also to eliminate any back bulge. So right now I'm just going to cut through the pattern. Please pay attention to the ones I'm cutting so you don't make any mistake. So at this point I wanted to put a slit at the back of my skirt, and I wanted to make it a vent. I didn't just want any slit. So this is what you see me do right now. So you go from your knee by how high you want your slit to be, but in this pattern block I didn't want my slit to be so high, so I went up from my knee by 4 inch and then came out by 1 inch. And this is because I wanted a vent and I didn't want to use my skirt allowance, like my sewing allowance, to create a slit. As you can see me do, I'm just cutting out the part I'm not going to need. Now I neatly folded the vent so you'll see how it's going to look at the end of the day. But when I'm cutting on the material, I'm going to show you how I cut it. And in our next tutorial video, I'm going to show you how to cut out and join this pattern to give you this beautiful outfit. Please click the subscribe button, like, share this video, and drop any question or comment in the comment section. Thank you so much. Beautiful outfit. Please click the subscribe button, like, share this video, and drop any question or comment in the comment section. Thank you.